Thank you so much for joining us. This is T with the Infuse You podcast. Whether you are joining us live or you are watching the replay, I just want to thank each and every one of you for supporting this podcast. We are in season number 4, and so I thought it would be a great time to reintroduce myself for those of you that are new and just now tuning into this podcast. So I am Teresa Coleman. I am originally from San Bernardino, California. I've been living in Arizona for well over 30 years, so my husband would tell you that I'm a native. But I'm still repping that Cali girl blood. So I am a wife and a mother of 3 adult children. I host this podcast. I work in corporate America as an HR business partner. I also teach group fitness at Mountainside, and then I also help my husband with our small t-shirt printing company. So I wear many hats like many women in the world, and this podcast was originally created to help women fill up their cups. I always tell people that we can't give from an empty cup. So if we're giving to everybody else, we don't have time to give to ourselves. However, over the last 4 seasons, this podcast has taken a turn. I've been grateful to have many guest women, of course, who are impacted and empowering their communities across the globe and giving them a platform to share their stories. So today I will be spotlighting this beautiful lady that you see on your screen. Her name is Kristin Kline, and she is the founder of Convicted Comeback. So if you don't know, today is National Nonprofit Day, and that is why I asked her to join to shine a light on her nonprofit organization so that you know what she's doing in our communities and how you can help support her mission. So if you're new, you've been under a rock, you don't know what Convicted Comeback is, it is a local Arizona nonprofit organization who is helping to rewrite the stories of women in incarcerated Arizona prisons. So I recently met Kristin through D&T, Denise and Tashiana of the D&T Experience. They are one of our longtime customers for our small t-shirt printing company, and they referred Kristin to us to print her Convicted Comeback tees. And I was so moved by her story that I instantly knew that God set us together for a reason and that I wanted to have her on this platform to share her unique story. So Kristin, with that big grand introduction, welcome to the Infuse You podcast. Thank you for saying yes to this interview.
Yes, that was amazing. Thank you. That felt really good.
Oh, you're welcome. So I know I have some questions for you, but before we dive in, if you could share with the listeners if there's one quote that gets you through tough times or just gets you through life, one of your favorite quotes, what would you say that would be?
Oh, wow. Well, the quote that is on our slogan that I go by is turning setbacks into comebacks. You know, because that's what's personal to me, and that's my life goal. You know, so I live by that.
Awesome. I love it. Turning setbacks into comebacks. We may
Yes,
fall down, but we get back up again. So I love
yes,
that.
ma'am. Yep.
So before we learn about Convicted Comeback, can you just share a little bit about yourself, your family, where you're from, where you grew up?
Yes, I'd love to. So, I am very native to Arizona as well. So way back, I was adopted, but that's all I've ever known. And I grew up here in Glendale, Arizona. Um, I went to a private school that I was the last graduating class in. It closed down after my graduating class that was quite small, and that's what I knew. And then I eventually moved away from home. Um, I have lived in quite a few states and traveled a lot. And now, currently, I am married. I am mother of 2 teenage girls that are officially in high school this year. So I have 2 high school children. And I am, yes, the co-founder of Convicted Comeback, among many other things, wearing many hats. That's what we do, right?
Yep,
Yes,
yep. We wear many hats and we do it well. So
we
women are
do.
very powerful creatures.
That is true.
Um, so speaking of Convicted Comeback, can you tell us how that came to be? What was the thought process behind it and how it became an actual thing?
So I didn't just decide one day to go and work inside the prison. This is actually a prison that's very dear to me because I kind of grew up inside this prison. I went to a Christian school and I grew up in a Christian home and went to church. But when I turned 18 and could leave home, I was gone. And I went on a journey. You know, I understood what freedom was for the first time. And it was a long journey and it was a rough journey that I had to learn a lot of things the hard way. I got wrapped up with the wrong crowd and the wrong people, and money was around, and with money comes drugs, and with drugs comes problems, and it just went downhill from there. And eventually I found myself, in roads of recovery, but I wound up in prison. And when I left prison, I thought I was never going to come back, ever. Never in a million years did I think I would end up back inside that same prison coaching programs, which leads me to Convicted Comeback. So Convicted Comeback is a program that was literally built around what I feel saved and changed my life. The tools and steps that you truly do need to learn to be able to adult after incarceration, because those aren't just handed and given to you, and just now are they beginning to be taught. So if you're going to wind up in prison, you obviously weren't equipped somewhere. So I wanted to be able to go in and equip the women with those tools, because I mean, I shouldn't be here. So it's a blessing every day that I'm on this side of things. So I feel that it is truly my duty to give that back.
And can you share with us some of those programs and tools that you use to help the women when they're on their way out or while they're still inside the prison?
Yes. So first and foremost, it's fitness based. I have always been an athlete. I found fitness again when I was incarcerated, and it was a happy place. At first, it was just an outlet, a place that I could dump all my problems. And through the internal rage, you build muscles and strength, which gives you power. And that is the first taste of freedom. And a lot of women saw that I trained and they wanted to partake in that. So I ended up creating a boot camp. And that was the first time, and this was while I was incarcerated. And this was the first time that I felt purpose, that I was actually giving back to the world, my own little world. And it felt good. And I wanted to reinvent that out here. I didn't realize that the programs that I was trying to craft were truly going to be for the inmates that were still inside. I just assumed that I would create classes out here and run gyms and teach people what I know and how to reintegrate to society. But just like that, I ended up literally a light bulb moment, and I started program writing to literally take fitness-based programs back inside to the women who needed it the most. And through those fitness-based programs, I'm creating a platform where they're ready to listen. I've already beaten them down and molded them. So now I can just feed them the mindset tools. With fitness and mindset, now you're covering the body. And I feel like that's what a lot of us need, especially those of us that are inside. Sometimes we work on the heart and we work on the mind, but we let the body go. And it's especially for women, we need that. We need the full package. And so fitness and mindset, we take boot camp and aerobics. I'm right now doing a silver strength seniors aerobics class inside. Again, never saw that happening. And that was literally at a request because of the classes we were already running. The older community came up and literally asked for something that they could do because it doesn't exist. So we created it.
That's amazing. Now, I can only imagine the roadblocks that you had to go through to get to this point. Can you share with us how that experience was? I'm sure you had to get several approvals, and I'm sure they probably said no on first ask of saying, why do you want to come back in and do this? Like, what in the world is going through your mind? So can you share a little bit with us about those roadblocks and how you got past that?
Yes. And if you don't mind, I'll take you back just a little.
Yes, yes.
I have been an addict longer than I have been sober throughout my life. And that destroys so many things. Your mind, your memory, your abilities, your self-respect. And then when you throw incarceration and all the other trauma and things that come with it, you could throw them all out there. It's endless. And it's woman after woman that's incarcerated. When you go through those things, approaching the gates towards freedom is only a little bit exciting. The rest of it is terrifying because inside it is ingrained in you that you are a felon and, well, you're an inmate. And when you get out, you're a felon and you're always going to be a felon. And so approaching the gates, I assumed, since it was the first and only time I will do prison time, that I would wear that scarlet letter F forever and everybody would know. And depending on your crimes, it's not always easy to get a job. And it's only been recent that you see truly like reimagining in the community to where it's more of a recovery based acceptance type thing. And that's not everywhere, but it hasn't always been either. And the way that you perceive yourself and the way that you expect others to perceive you once you come out, it's awful and it's really damaging. And it took me years and so it'll be 5 years that I'll be out this October. And it took me at least 2 years to pick my chin up and walk semi-confidently in a room. And so approaching those same people who were in control of me, who I did my time for, it was very difficult. It was terrifying. And often did I rack my mind on, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? At the time, it was my wife and I. So Megan, who is the co-founder of Convicted Comeback, I met inside and she did more than double my time. And we decided to grow this vision together. And so when we first started approaching the prisons, she was right next to me, which was wonderful and beautiful because to be able to go through all of those emotions of the acceptance, the denials, the back and forth, I was really blessed to have that because it was hard to be told no a million times to get one yes. That's rough. That's true resilience. And that's kind of how it is. And when we were first starting, we had no idea what to expect because we knew that there were going to be people there that recognized us, that saw us. And it's not always friendly on that side. So we did not know what to expect. And it is just that. We have officers that recognize us, that give us mad props. We have officers that I don't think are too keen on us being there. Everything kind of trickles, from the top. So it really helps that we have absolute support from the director of the state and his staff, because without that, I don't know where we would be. We were kicked out at one point, and it took him, Dr. Ryan Thornell, to get us back inside.
That's truly amazing. Yeah, I know every time we want to do something new or try something new, there's always someone who doesn't want us to get there, especially when it's making such a huge and a positive impact on the lives of people that everyone throws away once they're incarcerated. So I've had several family members, men and women, who have been incarcerated, and you always hear the stories about the treatment that they get and what they don't get to do. And so to have you guys go inside to be able to give them a different outlook and prepare them so that when they do get out, or if they're serving a life sentence, that they can get through that better than they would have had they not met you guys. So awesome, awesome, awesome. So recently you have been partnering with some fitness professionals. If you guys haven't seen on social media, Convicted Comeback has done their second Freedom Tour just yesterday. I don't know how you guys do it. I'm on social media watching your guys' stories. 15 plus hours you guys are out there at the prison. So can you share with us a little bit about the Freedom Tour and what has been your biggest takeaway from that tour?
I am blown away. I can tell you right now, first of all, I'm in straight recovery mode right now. And I know my entire team is in recovery mode because it is a long and hot 15 hours. And I mean that 15 hours, it's just go. I don't even know when we sit, it's just crazy. So we run classes on 1 yard. I guess let me back up. Perryville Prison is the female prison here in the state of Arizona. And in that prison, there are multiple yards. Some of them vary by crime. Some of them vary by level. And so you've got minimum, medium, and then max. And then you've got your hard max, which is close custody. And then there are 6 different yards. So when we run classes, typically we are running them on 1 yard, 1 class. On Wednesday nights, we go in and we see our seniors, and then we see our GP, which is general population, and that's 2 hours of a class. That's just 1 unit. And other units can hear our music. And so we would get requests like, what's going on? We hear this, that. And then girls get transferred. And so the word would get around that this one particular yard was getting these classes. And we're the only ones running classes like this. This has never existed. I've never seen anything like this.
Me either.
And I know it's crazy. And everybody tells us from the seniors class, like just a basics seated aerobics. It doesn't exist. And when you look at it, it's mind blowing because you've got ample amounts of time with ample amounts of people. Let's get them moving. And so I could not take that anymore, but I'm only one person. So I thought, how do I create something to where we can see everybody? And it's not very easy. You can't transport people around because you've got keepaways. So not everybody can intermingle. And there's not enough space and yard equipment and all that, you know? So we were like, all right, well, I guess here we go. We're going to take the fitness to them, everybody. So then as we put that plan together, which still I look back on it and I know the team does too, it's pretty crazy. Like we could have broken it up. We could spread things out, but no, we wanted to make sure that everybody got the equal chance. So from 5 a.m. to 8 p.m., we are at Perryville Prison. We start on 1 yard and we travel through every single yard. And on one of the yards, we do 2 classes because the closed custody girls cannot intermingle with the non-closed custody girls. And the closed custody girls, for the first time yesterday, we got them to intermingle because usually they are not allowed to connect either. They have to stay within their cells and they can't see each other. So when we have our program, they're able to come out and not just see us, but see each other and socialize, which is humane. So
Yes.
It's a very beautiful thing. It is a very long day because we are literally running the same program multiple times a day. Who are we? So I'm just blown away and I get emotional. And the girls can tell you I cried all day yesterday, all day. I volunteered at a conference called Fitness Fest for 2 years. Last year, I am sitting in the audience and I see something that I've never seen before. Dance fitness. I was blown away. I thought, wait a second, what is this beautiful thing? And in the crowd, I see Denise. And I don't know what came over me because I was not outspoken. I was an introvert. I was shy. But within this last year, I've come out of my cocoon because I've had no choice. I see that I have responsibility and that people are watching, and it's like I just have to deliver. So I approached Denise and I said, hey, would you? And before I could even get it out, she says, yes. So then I say, like to come in the prison? And she's like, yes. So I was introduced to D&T Experience, and they were excited. But I was not sure if they understood what I was really needing from them. It's not every day that you find people who do not have a real deep experience with incarceration or have been incarcerated to want to come and spend the entire day in a desolate area, filthy, running hard fitness, sweating it on the pavement with the incarcerated women for 15 hours a day. Like, where do you find that? And I literally just found a team of them. So Denise and Tatiana said yes to being with Convicted Comeback and coming into Perryville Prison. And I can tell you this, the girls do not want to see me on the Freedom Tour day. They want to see D&T. They love D&T. I'm old news, but D&T brought to them exactly what they made me feel. So that is amazing. So that's the first partnership that I had. And the second was with a good friend who already takes her program, which is yoga and sound healing. And she works regularly with the closed custody girls. So she has a very good rapport with them. And she decided to partner with us as well. So the three of us, which is really the four of us, we travel around together and we deliver a circle of a program with a portion of each of what we do with the women 1 day a month.
That's amazing. Yeah, Denise and Tashiana are amazing. I love them. They're just great. Oh, that
They
gives me
are.
goosebumps. Oh,
Yep.
okay. Before I start tearing up here, so I know that when people go to prison, like I said, I've never been incarcerated, but I've had several family members that have. And I think that I'm not going to say that people in prison don't get it, but I know that people out on the outside, you're the one that's inside serving the time, but your family is also serving that time just on the outside because they're there with you. I mean, some people don't have family, but those that do, can you like share some advice with family members who have people incarcerated, who are serving that time on the outside? Like, how do they get through that? What are some tips that you can share from your experience on what's the best way to help support your incarcerated family member?
It takes a toll on the family. Like, I definitely aged my parents. I'm blessed that my parents stood by my side, that they had my children, that the state didn't take my children, that I was able to come home to my parents, and that they held it down for me, because people don't have that. And immediately without that, your support system, like, where are you getting that? Because that's what it's all about. It takes a village. Like, I say that all the time. It is not just some old saying. It takes a village. And by village, I mean an entire community, because it's a full cycle. Right now with the women, you're talking, these are moms. These are women that come out to raise more children. Like, we all need each other. And when we go into prison, we take the entire family with us, because it's damaging and it's hard. And the families out here, if you don't have any experience with this, you're in the dark. Because if those that are not incarcerated or have been incarcerated help you, the system's not going to help you understand. So just recently, I had a distant family member from another state, I mean, another state being distant, reach out and say that they had a friend that was here in Arizona, and that their daughter was recently incarcerated, and they didn't understand anything. Nothing made sense to them. No one was calling them back, and they were terrified. And she was down for 10 flat. So this is scary. And I actually will have access to her once she hits the yard and gets a number in the system, because I'm on that yard. It's my favorite yard. And so I said, give her my number. Let me talk to her. And that's what it's about. Because I know that if my mom could have talked to somebody who said, like, this is what's going to happen, this is what you can expect, then, we can all calm down a little. Because there are grips of time that you go without any communication, and you don't know what's going on. And to think that anybody in the system is going to call you back is just silly. So it's just like, fend for yourself. So, I mean, first and foremost, like I said, it's community. And I think the hardest part for family is understanding the fine line between true love and enabling, and then the journey from incarceration to coming back into the life. Because it was hard to go back to my parents and them not understand what I had been through, or what to expect, and to be scared and on edge. Is this the last time? Is she going to come back? And is she going to be okay if she leaves the house? Where at the same time, I'm trying to find freedom, and this is the new me, and I need to experience. So it takes communication. It takes true opening up, and talking about what is needed. And that is something that I try to tell the girls inside. It starts with them, because you have to use your voice. And now your voice has to match your actions, because that's all you're going to have. Because you're going to go out and people are going to know you're just getting out. And so they're not going to want to give you the chance. So you're going to have to say, hey, listen, this is the situation. but this is who I am today, and this is what I'm willing to do. And we're going to have to do that over and over and over until we prove ourselves. And you can't just sit there entitled and think that you don't have to do it, because that's just a part of the consequence. And so a lot of it is us taking accountability, wanting that change, moving forward, and then knowing that we got to bring everybody else with us. And it just takes constant communication and teamwork. Like, I just can't reiterate that enough.
Yeah, it's just like raising a child. It takes a village. I mean, we can't
It's
do it even with two parents. It's nearly impossible. And like you said, people that come out have to want it. And I'm glad that you brought up enabling, because some family members may think you're being cruel or you're being mean. But if you keep going back over and over and you're not willing to make a change, there's at some point your family's going to take a step back because you're not proving that it's something that you want. So
yeah,
I'm glad that you brought that up, and that's some of the experience that I've had with my family members that have just gone back over and over, and they wonder, well, how come you're not doing this, and why don't you let me call? And it's like, how many times are you gonna keep doing it? I can't keep doing that over and over. And I used to feel bad and cry about it, and my husband said, look, they've had the opportunity. This is two or three or four or five times that they're going back. You don't have to keep letting them back in, because
yeah.
my mom passed away, and I know she wants us to all look after each other. And so I used to feel
Mhm.
guilty by not accepting the phone calls. But at some point, they have to figure it out. So I'm so glad that you
Yeah.
brought that up. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Um, so my next question is convicted comeback. How can people get involved? Where do you need the most support? What can people do to help make this bigger than you've ever imagined?
So we have a website, convictedcomeback.com. And on there, we have Amazon links and links to our donation page. What I would love is to build an equipment arsenal, because we can do a lot with the women, but simple equipment, weights, and things would be awesome. And so I have an Amazon list on there, and I know it takes a lot, but every little bit we can add to the pile. Everything that we get goes directly into our programs for the women. And at this time, we're literally storing them in my garage and carting them back and forth. And then we cart them in carts from yard to yard, tug them along, and that's just how it is. And so that is one thing on a smaller scale. And on a larger scale, we just want to build. We want to be able to fund the women that come in all the time to help us run these programs. We want to be able to buy things like water bottles and stickers and notebooks to be able to give the women. So, they love receiving those things because it shows them that they are loved and thought of, and they get to take those back to their cells and love them, and it reminds them of us for taking the time to come in and give it to them. So that's really important. And equipment. We have big things in mind. We just want to completely scale, because we realize that it's more than fitness and mindset.
Right.
The women need programs inside. They need programs outside. They need an ability to connect with us inside and still have us out here. I didn't realize what I was building. I think I knew it, but I didn't believe that I could truly get there. And just like that, overnight, meeting the most incredible people, putting them in my path that have the knowledge, the understanding, and then the passion. Because without the passion, prison's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. Not everybody can do what we do. And those girls will sniff you out. Like, that's real. And so to be able to actually have a team that stands by me and has the passion and gives what I give and they love from their heart is unbelievable. So I just want to expand with them and bring a full circle, to Convicted Comeback, because the circle and the door is always revolving in Perryville, unfortunately. So it's not like we'd be without women. So we need to expand to help that.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what are some of the programs that you foresee you making available after, like, once someone is released from prison? What do you see that looking like? How can Convicted Comeback help them when they get out?
Women need connection. Um, I think that I would like to start a drive for items that women need upon release. When you release from prison, you are given nothing. If you had a retention job, then you have the bits of money that you put away. You get a food card, I believe, for $250 one time, but you don't get clothes or shoes. You know, you don't get a backpack or anything, whatever the essential needs would be. And we have great women that are in our program. And first of all, I feel like that does our initial vetting, because if I know that you're going to come out on a 115-degree day and pound it with me on the pavement, then you're hungry. And when you stay for group session and you listen to me talk about what it took for me to get to be back in front of them, then I know you want it. So I will let you have it. And I'm willing to go the miles for those people because, you know, not everybody shows that they're ready. And that's fine. Teach their own, you know,
Right.
but those that do, we want to give them the tools because that doesn't always happen. And plenty of people came in front of me when I got out and started to take accountability and accepted where I was and that I wanted to move forward. And those people gave me the hope that got me to where I am right now. And so I want to be able to replicate that. And it starts with having some decent clothes to wear when you get out and some shoes, a job lined up, you know, the community. So I need help. I'm just kicking things off. People that have skills that I could use for the nonprofit, I'm always open ears for. You know, we're looking for media and web design and things like that. And I'm always reaching out.
Well, you guys are doing great work. I couldn't
Thank
imagine
you.
getting out of prison. Like you said, you have that tag on you that you're a felon, and there's not many jobs. I mean, there's much more now, but before there was not many jobs that even would look at you if you put that you were a convicted felon. So I can only imagine me trying to find a job during COVID when I quit my job that was not treating me well. It has no comparison to what incarcerated individuals have to go through. So I appreciate you so much.
Thank
Um,
you.
so I'm excited about our next topic. In 13 days, we will be at the D&T Experience annual Labor Day weekend. So Denise and Tashiana have hosted this. I believe this is year number 5 or 6. I can't remember off the top of my head. But they always pick some initiative or somebody that they want to benefit from their Labor Day weekend. And so this year it is benefiting Convict to Comeback. So if you are going to be there on August 30th, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. is the masterclass. Those proceeds will be benefiting Convict to Comeback. So that's another way that you can give back. Come experience the D&T Experience dance party with us. There will be vendors. Southwest Coast Product will be a vendor that will be there. And I know that Convict to Comeback will be there as well. So that's just another way that you can give back to this amazing, amazing cause. It's touched my heart so much. Before this interview, I told Kristin I hope I didn't cry during the interview because, like I said, I've never been incarcerated, but I have so many family members across the United States, not just here in Arizona, men and women who have been incarcerated. So I greatly appreciate everything that you and Megan and your team are doing. We need to replicate you all over the United States. I mean, I know that there's other programs. I probably don't hear about them because I don't live in those states. But we need more of you around the world because there are so many men and women who want to make a change, but they just don't have the tools or the resources or the people to believe in them. So they go out on the street, they try to make it on their own, and then they end up back in prison.
Yep.
And it's
Yep.
just unfortunate that, you know, it takes someone like you to be able to, you know, make people see that they need help. I mean, I know the world sees it, but everyone's, you know, in their own bubble. I know that's not my problem. I didn't do anything. They did the crime. They got to do the time. Okay, but what happens when they get out?
Yeah.
Everyone deserves a second chance. So I appreciate you for being there for them while they're inside the prison to let them know when they get out that there is more life to just what they did and why they were incarcerated. So thank you so much for that. Anything else that you want to share with the listeners about Convict to Comeback, about this vision, about the women that are incarcerated at Perryville Prison? Anything else that you want to leave them with?
I'm just so astonished at the love. Like, I have realized that everybody has only been just, you know, a smidgen away of finding themselves in trouble at one point in their lives. It could happen to anybody. And the judgment and the stigma around it is so awful. And that needs to change, because people do change. I didn't think they changed. I was one of them, but they do. And it does take a village. So if we could just all be a little bit kinder and understanding, then I think, it could happen. And it starts with us. And who's better to show the world than the underdogs?
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much. So you guys can follow Kristin on Instagram or Facebook at Convicted Comeback. Also, the website is convictedcomeback.com. So make sure you guys go check out the links that she has, make a donation, contribute to the cause. We have all had someone, I shouldn't say we all, but if we haven't had a family member, we've known someone, a friend or someone that has been incarcerated. So just think if that was your person, your loved one, your family member that was incarcerated, and the things that Kristin has shared with us today that they are in need of when you're making your donation. So next week, I am super excited to be interviewing one of my coworkers. Her name is Sherelle. She was recently retired from the U.S. Army, and now she's over in civilian life with us at Honeywell. So she's going to share her story about being a woman in the military and making the decision to retire, that journey, and what resources that women have that are available to them if that's what they decide to do. So you have been listening to the Infuse You podcast. I hope that something shared today will help you along your life journey. Until next time, continue to do you, be you, infuse you, and be blessed. Have a great Sunday, everyone.